All right, we're recording. We'll see. This is a new technique. It will work. Maybe it won't. We will find out on the new episode.
Got to dig deep for this one.
Nah,
Digging deep.
Dan, you know what? Actually, let's not complain. We've promised our listeners.
No complaining?
No complaining. It's been a tough week.
No complaining whatsoever.
It's been a tough week. I've been to 2 funerals this week. I've lost someone. You know, my family's a little torn up. But you know what? The show must go on. You know what I've realized, Dan? Our listeners are more important than my family. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'd rank it right now. In my life, it's God, our podcast listeners, family. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Very nice.
And I'm
Very
sorry,
nice.
guys. I'm sorry,
Top-notch
guys.
stuff,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, guys. I know we said we were done, but you know, we need to lift our spirits. We need to get the energy up. You know what I mean? And Dan, I don't know. You're under the same room, so we can't take some form of stimulant. You know, obviously a legal stimulant. We can't do that. You know.
Of course, yeah.
So we've got to figure out something that's going to be like a digital stimulant, a digital version of cocaine. You know, a legal version. And there's only one thing I can think of. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. You let me know. What about this?
Psst, I see dead people. Hey, monster on the beat.
Get that energy
Beat
up.
any rap nigga, he a freak throw. Man down, call her Amber Lambs. Tell him breathe, bro. Nail a nigga to the cross. He walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton? The industry can hate me. Marlon, they
No. Dan, we promised we'd stop. Dan, we told them we'd stop.
So much. Well, I was thinking, can't we get like a I've been enjoying some of the different versions. It's building up. Hold on. I can see you. Okay, this is not the version I liked, but it's fine. Remember, Philip, I don't have my regular setup. All right, so I gotta somehow improvise.
Okay.
Anyway,
It's okay, Dan. And you know what? Improvisation is stressful, Dan. You know that. And one thing that improvisation will do is it'll weigh on your spirit. It'll weigh on your heart, and it'll bring your energy levels down. So we've got to once again pick them back.
no, I'm feeling good over here. I'm feeling good over here.
Feeling good, feeling great.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
All right. Well, wait, I was looking for something, but now it's so far down. You know, I've watched a lot of content this past few days. Oh, here we go, Dan. This is better.
Do a brother like people. Call the ambulance, nail 'em to the cross. What's up with these yuckers? They can hate me. How many options you got? Too many options. Passed on that body. Hide the Bible, beat your ass. Sometimes you have to pop out. Show what's that. I'm the certified boogeyman. Say Drake, say Drake, I heard. You like it now? Don't get caught. Since you're talking to.
Back when music was music.
Stop your seconds.
This is that classic.
Got a weird case.
I remember when I was a kid when this came out.
I remember. Wait, you were a kid in the 60s? God damn, Dan, how old are you?
I look young, I know, but that's why I let my beard grow out. Because y'all disrespecting me.
You know what I mean? I remember watching this documentary on the Ed Sullivan Show many, many years ago. And it's this hot ditty. Here we go.
Struggle core. Me, you, us. Never have been, never will be. Never be like us. Never will be like us.
That was the classic. Not like us, but BB Winans and the Soul Style Boys.
You know, when that dropped at that wedding 22 years ago.
Oh my. Oh, that marriage is still going strong. And that marriage he's talking about is my mommy and pappy. because I am only 21 years old. This is WKBOW FM.
Oops.
And we're ready to go. Dan, please cue up the drop and let's hear from our sponsors.
Okay, let's go.
Jump up in the club, everybody gather round. Two broke Twimbos in the town. Listen close to the sound. I need that guy and feel charged. Baby, bringing the fun. With your podcast vibes, we not stop till the morning sun. Every episode got me laughing, can't control my smile. Talking about the latest news with their unique style. From Zimbabwe to the world, they spreading good vibes, keeping it real and entertaining. They're on the rise, two broke Twimbos, bring the heat to the floor. Everybody get guy and feel charged in control. We gonna keep moving to the podcast floor. Oh yeah. We gonna keep moving to the podcast floor.
Hey, yo, shout out to, who was that on Twitter? It was Entertainer GTM. It was like, yo, that intro on Two Broke Twimbos is fire. God damn it.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
we
right.
know.
We sat down, when Dad and I sat down, and we're like, we need to craft something. You know what I mean?
20 ghostwriters.
We hit
20
that
ghostwriters
studio.
in the room.
We hit that studio, man. We were cooking, you know what I mean? Like, the vibe was right. There was a lot of ladies in the room, you know what I'm saying? And it was just the vibe, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really proud of what we put in, you know what I mean? Dan was on them keys killing it. You heard the beep, beep, beep. That was Dan's idea. Yeah, that was dope right there.
Anyway, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. As usual, we're going to raise the energy by asking some questions. I got to ask, are y'all
Good to go. Sound a big thing now.
I know Dan. I need a little shit.
Don't interrupt the Phil. Don't interrupt it. Welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast. This is Two Broke Twimbos. It's Danny That Guy and Phil Chart in the building. My name's Danny That Guy, a.k.a. Danos the Mad Titan, a.k.a. Denford Wikmaraini, a.k.a. Danimbi, my life, your entertainment, a.k.a. I'm done with these streets. I just want to thank the Lord that I've never been in Kateko with a Kanya or an Isaac with a Ruth, a.k.a. Akuna Mumwendi Danmo.
That's right, and is here with the unknown, the unmistakable, the undistinguishable. Dan, I speak this way because I understand Bridgerton's training. I've never watched an episode, but, I owed someone a favor. Anyway, that is him, Phil Chart, a.k.a. Flint Floss, the big boss, baby, a.k.a. Feeds a P, a.k.a. Philon Musk, Sexington Ndlovu, and, of course, a good friend. Please may you purchase me a beverage. Welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the podcast. So, fun fact. When I first went to go... Okay, this was the second visit I went to go see my now wife, then was my girlfriend. It was the first time that we spent an extended period of time together and we both had COVID. So Bridgerton had just come out on Netflix, season 1. So we were miserable. We were stuck in the house. We were sick. We were, just pumping ourselves full of like concoctions.
Oh! Hold on, sorry, Dan. Like when you set up that scenario, like you said, we were alone, we were miserable, we were sick, and then you said pumping immediately after. I was like, whoa, Dan, whoa!
Pumping ourselves full of medicine.
Pumping.
Bridgerton had just come out. We just looked for something to watch, and we started watching it. It was trash TV, but it was enjoyable. And for the next 2 weeks, we just started talking like that until we couldn't stop. Just like, good day to you, madame. Yes, indeed. Would you like a cup of coffee? Indeed. Do you have some tea? And at first it was a joke. And then at some point we were doing it like it was now second nature. And then we had to deliberately make an effort to stop. So I would advise you, Philip, not to get too used to it.
Do you know the hilarious irony there is, Denise?
Yes. Tell me the hilarious irony.
That was indeed an episode of Seinfeld. Granted,
I remember that.
granted, I've somewhat cooled off the boil of my appreciation for Gerald Seinfeld with his recent position vis-a-vis Palestine, Israel. But nevertheless and evermore, I'll pirate the program so he won't receive any residual benefits from my
This is why I say don't pay too much attention to your faves because they will disappoint you.
They will indeed.
They will disappoint you.
But you know, Dan, I don't know, it's a sliding scale, if I may say, you know, drunk driving, being a negligent parent is one thing. Maybe even a drug addict is another, you know, but funding a genocide, those are historical levels of bad, you know. That's the type of bad they'll be making movies about in 50 years or so. So sad to hear him take such poor choices in his life. But anyway, I do digress. I see what you do mean, Dad. It's really hard to stop speaking like this. It's like a drug. It has gripped me. You know what, Dad? As a fun challenge, I shall continue the rest of this episode using this voice. And we'll see how many listeners we lose before I die.
Okay, unknown P. So a couple of things. First of all,
that actually works. My name is Philip P. Oh, Dan, you genius. You spry young fellow.
So just a couple of things. I feel like I want to mention them because they sort of came up. So first of all, in my intro, I made reference to Nkate Kokanya, Isaac Ruth. You may have wondered what that was about.
Is this about the ultimatum? I've been seeing a lot of content. Do tell me. I actually have no idea what this program is. So this will be a lovely bit of insight and understanding of what the common man is watching.
I thought you might not. And I thought many of our listeners might not know what it is. And I took it upon myself to subject myself to that vitriol, that swill, just so that I could come on here and explain so that you don't have to watch it.
For
the real reason. Okay. So, there's so much backstory. Okay. Just to quickly abbreviate it. I'm off work this week. That's because I had taken time off to travel to Thailand.
I was going to ask you.
As you can see, Philip, I am in my regular environment.
I haven't seen some posts from your better half in a foreign land. And I was like, wait a minute. She seems to be without her boo.
She is having the time of her life. And I've had to lie and say, no, babes, don't hold back. I want you having a good time is me having a good time. So don't hold back.
What? Dan, do you worry if she finds herself a strapping young fellow that is able to acquire a visa instantly and she's like, you know what? Maybe I should return with him. Are you worried about losing your lady?
In Thailand?
You don't know. Okay, wait. That's racist, firstly. What are you
No, I mean, look, guys, I mean, come on. You don't just find strapping Zimbabwean gentlemen all over the world, you know.
Thailand
anyway.
have hot men. Okay, let me Google hot men in Thailand. Let's see what the result is.
Yes, very safe Google, therefore.
Oh, God. Oh.
Okay. So that's why I've been at home.
Why are they in dresses? What is happening? Oh, okay.
So I decided there's a lot of things. I have such a backlog of like personal projects, things that I'm working on, things that I've been wanting to work on that I figured, you know what? My wife's away. I'm kind of miserable. I'm not at work. Let me take my time to do this. So I've been working on some stuff. And I figured while I'm working, let me put on some mindless TV. You know, so I watched some of the stand-up specials. Like, you know, I watched Kevin Hart winning his
the Mark Twain Prize.
The Mark Twain Comedy Prize. Yeah. I watched Cat Williams special. I finished it as I had started watching it. I also watched I just watched a bunch of random stuff that was sort of playing in the background while I was working. And then I saw new to Netflix, the Ultimatum. I was like, oh, that's what everyone's talking about on Twitter. Oh, this is probably mindless TV. Let me put it on and we'll just play in the background. So at least I have an understanding of what's going on, you know, in the zeitgeist, if you will. So I pressed play on that. Philip, within 30 minutes, I was not working anymore. That is the most
you had been hooked.
Brainless nonsense TV that just hooks you. Here's the concept. And here's the concept of the show. 6 couples are going to go onto this reality show. One of the couple, in each couple, is going to issue an ultimatum to their partner and say, if you don't marry me in a given time frame, then I'm leaving. So that's the ultimatum they're given. But we are going to go on the show. So they have various reasons for not marrying their partner. Some of them have been together ranging from 6 months to like 9 years. They've been dating for 9 years, and there was only one guy who issued the ultimatum. The rest, it was the 5 ladies. And they were like, listen, if you don't marry me, then let me go. That's the ultimatum, right? And the concept is you issue an ultimatum and then you apply to be on the show. And if you're accepted, you will then agree to be trial married to someone else for 3 weeks, and then trial married to your partner for 3 weeks. And then at the end of that 6 weeks, it's actually a 9-week thing, because I think the first 3 weeks it's getting to know each other, blah, 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 blah.
Pause.
So
Sorry, my fellow. Sorry.
Yeah.
I must interject. When you say a trial marriage, does this include the conjugal marital rights?
I'll get there. Don't worry.
Sorry,
I'll get there. This is the concept. So let's just say you and I are married, Phil, or you and I are dating. And I'm like, Philip, you take me for granted. It's been this long and you still haven't asked me to marry you. I'm fed up. I'm fed up. We are going to the ultimatum.
How old are you?
We go to the ultimatum, and I and you are going to find someone else who's also on the show. We've got 3 weeks to pick who our person's going to be.
I would never cheat on you.
At the end of that 3 weeks, we're going to go for our trial marriage to our respective partners. And then after 3 weeks, we come back, and then you and I are going to spend 3 weeks together in a trial marriage. So basically, you're given a villa, you live like a married couple, you do, activities like a married couple, etc., etc. And then at the end of the entire 9 weeks, you then have to answer the ultimatum or walk away. It's clearly crazy, but I guess the thinking behind it is maybe you're not sure you want to marry this person. So try be married to someone else. And either it will make you appreciate your person more and be like, you know what? I'm actually happy with my person. I'll marry them. Or, damn, I'd rather marry someone else. So you leave. I guess that's the premise behind it. Anyway, so we're introduced to all the couples, and very quickly, it's quite clear to see that there's some insane people. There's one white couple, which is so funny because it's five black couples and one white couple.
So in the trial marriage, do the white people have to venture outside their race?
Obviously, because there's only one white couple.
So basically, okay, I got to break actor for a second. So wait, so when they find the other couple, are they swapping? Are they like swinging, or are they like bombshells entering the villa?
No, it's within the six couples.
So this is a show. This is a show about sanctioned swinging. This is what it is.
Yes, that's literally what it is. But the idea, okay, on paper, you break up with your person for 3 weeks and then you're going to get back together again after 3 weeks. But realistically, the reason you're there is because you want your person to marry you. So you're not really breaking up. But the idea is go spend some time with someone else. Maybe it will open your eyes to see that I'm the one for you. Now, I think some of the couples went in there fully expecting that your partner is going to be 100% faithful to you while they're sleeping in the same bed as someone else for 3 weeks.
Do people not have conversations at home? Do people not have like I have a conversation before we go to the shops. Like, listen, we go to the shops. This is the budget what we're buying. So, like, no one had like, hey, baby, I know we're going on the show. These are the rules. Just so we're clear.
They tried. Let me tell you what happened. Hey, baby, please let's refrain from calling each other that. Top tier line that's come up. Let's refrain from calling each other baby.
What? Wait, someone said this.
So remember, Phil. So they've come. The first 3 weeks, you're meeting other people to see who you're going to go on a trial marriage with. So you go to cocktail parties and events and whatever. So in these parties, you're supposed to talk to other people because you're trying to see who you're going to choose. Now, obviously, you're watching your partner of several years flirting with someone else. Makes you feel some type of way. So you come in and you're like, hey, I know we said we're going to talk to other people, but it just seems like you're laughing too loud at her jokes. And it's like, please can we refrain each other from calling each other baby. This is how it starts. I'm like, this is obviously insane.
So I'm assuming the police were called immediately after this. Like, that's what happened, right? Like,
security had to step in multiple times during the season. Did you sleep with my girl, bro? Did you sleep with her? It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous, Philip. It was
So this
absolutely
is
ridiculous.
This is like high school, but worse.
Then, so the names I mentioned, I'm gonna highlight two couples, right? The one couple is Nkateko and Kanya. So Nkateko is your charmer. He's a suave guy, clearly takes care of himself and his skin, bold head, beard, kind of short, sort of light skin, but has, that Joburg accent, the one that goes to cocktail bars.
Oh, brew. All right. Oh, jeez.
In like Rosebank and Santon.
Babs.
That guy.
Babs.
That's
Babs.
Nkateko.
Babs. All right. I saw him Nkateko, eh? Oh, Kanye, Babs.
Uses big words, knows exactly what it stares right into your eyes, deep in your soul, as he's speaking to you about the weather.
Babs, the weather's going to make me ameliorate, Yeah.
I saw him immediately. Now, his girlfriend is Kanya, who gives you immediate Instagram baddie vibes. But she had, I don't know nothing about women's hair care, and I don't want to get in people's business, but those were terrible wigs, man. I mean,
she's South African. She's South African.
I can see where your skin ends, where whatever the netting or whatever it is of that wig starts, and you're on TV. And on top of that, you're dressed up all, little black dress, high heels, makeup done, whatever. And I can see where the undergarment, the stocking.
First, I got to give it time out. First, what you're talking about is the lace, called the lace front, Dad. Okay, first.
Yeah, Israel. I can see it.
So there's that.
I was about to call it the undergarment of the week.
Secondly,
wow, Philip, wow.
Sorry, we're recording on a different day. My automation is not activated. Secondly, South Africans are notorious for having terrible wigs. I thought you knew
it was
this.
so bad.
Thirdly,
Anyway,
I had a business meeting last week. I've got to share this now. It does remind me. It's actually a little bit of a digression, but I've got to say, I had a meeting with someone who's a colleague, wanted to discuss something, and they came wearing one of those wigs. And as you know, it's been a bit windy as of late, Dan, because winter, high pressure system, and she didn't fasten the wig down properly. So every time the wind blew, it was like, I don't know, like when a fish opens its gills. So it literally just, and it was so hard to ignore. Like I was like, yo, I know you feel it, right? I'm sure you feel the wig flapping in the wind. Like, why are you putting me through this? Anyway, sorry, carry on.
All right. Anyway, so going back to this couple. So I've told you about Kanya. Kanya is 34 and Nkateko is 30. He's obviously a bit of a player. Well, I mean, he's probably not a player because he also seems a bit soft, but he's a bit of a charmer. You know what I'm saying? And Kanya is, and she's, right from the get-go, you can see she's mean. So in the initial meeting where everyone gets to meet each other, they have a speed dating sort of session, she literally tells people to their face that they're boring. Right? So it's like, damn, she's a bit mean, but okay. Anyway, as time goes on, I'll tell you about another couple. It's this Nigerian or Ghanaian man. I think he's Nigerian. Man by the name of Isaac, and he's dating a South African girl, Ruth. And again, she says, I've never met his family. I don't even, I'm not allowed to text him at certain times. I feel like there's so much that
but he agreed to be on TV? What?
So that's why she's like, I'm surprised he accepted this because I thought he'd refuse because he must be hiding something. But anyway, we're going to find out during the course of the show. Anyway, so these are the two couples I want to focus on. There's a bunch of other couples with other mess, but these two especially. Oh no, wait, there's another one, another couple, Nola and Lebo. Nola is a mess, man. He's just he went in there like his goal was, I'm here to cheat. This is what I'm here to do.
It was like hope has given.
Sanctions swinging. What? Let's go. Like from the it was such a mess. Anyway, so Kanya is the one who you're going to see talked about the most on social media because every episode she was full on mean female dog energy, 100%. She was abusive. Like honestly, I'm sure once the show ends, she should be arrested. She's literally physically abusive, emotionally abusive. She's rude, entitled, everything you could possibly.
Is this the person that they were like saying is a scam artist on the timeline?
No. So what they said that her one of her high school classmates or something came out and said, I recognize that was my bully in high school. Then someone else says, yo, we've actually been trying to track down this woman. She stabbed someone in Durban or something. I don't know. These wild stories that started coming out. She put out a statement saying, please, some weird statement about, I know there's a certain narrative going on about me. Please know that we've all healed or something. I don't know, whatever she says. But she is full on bad vibes. That's like, she is bad vibes as a person. And Kateko, while he also came across it like at the beginning, he seemed a little bit of a player, but he got all the sympathy votes because everyone was like, damn, man, how are you surviving with this woman?
He's a battered man.
Isaac, the guy, the Nigerian man who was hiding stuff, he finds out that his partner, like day one of her fake marriage with Nola, who was in here when they're just to cheat, they went straight to it, straight to business. So this guy then says, obviously I can't tell him because he's like bigger than me. I'm not going to tell him.
Is that his reasoning?
But eventually his person got told. It's just like, the ladies had their meeting, the men had their meeting. They're like, did you guys get up to anything? Did you touch my wife or did you touch my girlfriend? Of course not, bro. I respect you too much, but we're learning each other, This is the gents. The women, on the other hand, are like, look, I need to speak to you one-on-one. I'm coming to you as a woman. Yeah, me and him, till the bed broke.
What?
So it then led to a confrontation, physical fighting. Security had to come in and pull them apart. And then one couple had to exit the villa because I'm sure they had signed all kinds of binding contracts, but they were like, yeah, nah, sue us if you have to because we can't continue this. It was wild. It was just, Phil, it's just why it's mess, wild, and it feels like they're acting, but also not acting because I could see it happening. Anyway, so that was my reference at the beginning when I was mentioning names. If you've watched the show, you'll know why I'm like, yo. If you haven't watched the show, don't watch it because you'll get sucked in and it's trash. And at the end of it, you will hate humanity, but you'll be thoroughly entertained.
I'm now catching up. I'm seeing there's a statement here from Kanya. It's always nice. There's an Instagram statement. Hi to everyone that has been turning into the Ultimatum South Africa. And I understand if some of you may feel I was out of line with some of my words and actions. It was an intense experience for me, and I handled it with the best way I could. Just like how it was not easy for other cast members watching their partners with other people, it was not easy for me too. I've apologized already, and to those that I have wronged, and I would like to thank everybody for being so invested in the show and sharing their thoughts on the reality show. It's a lot of redundant wording here. I acknowledge I'm a strong personality and say things that let me get in a thing. I acknowledge I'm a strong personality and say things that only
others. She speaks. She's also a Joburg girl.
You're ruining it, Dan.
Also, okay.
Making things.
She said, you know the Twitter Han statements. Twitter's not a real place, but people say stuff that people think is real.
Mm-hmm.
She literally said, "Oh, I know you're not asking me what I bring to the table. I am the table." Like, what? This is not a real statement. But she said it.
Well, clearly it worked because she's with the dumbass. Yo, he's got a round head.
No.
Why does he have a round head? His head is very round.
They broke up at the end. So that was...
I thought, I'm reading these tweets. Apparently you got a promise ring? Or is there someone else? This isn't
So yes, she wanted... So obviously her whole thing was, I want to get married. This is your ultimatum. So at the end of the show, he comes, he's like, here's a ring. Then she's like, oh my God. And then he's like, this ring is a promise that I'm going to get engaged. And she's like, wait, this is not an engagement ring. She's like, no, it's a promise. That was, that scene in Game of Thrones where you see Joffrey die. That's what this was like. It was like, oh, yes. Pause, zoom in on those tears. Yes.
Yo, Taz, if you're listening, Taz, come home. Please listen. Like, can you hear what's happening here? Come home.
No, I'm back at work next week, so thankfully I'm not watching this stuff no more. Actually, I need to remove that from. The second thing I want to have a quick rant about is, Phil. We haven't really touched much on sports ball in the past couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously because of the beef situation, and I mean, we've talked a little bit about F1, a little bit about the NFL and even touched a little bit on NBA, but something we haven't spoken much about is football. Soccer to our American friends.
Oh, kicky ball, the kickball, sports ball. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, feetsball, as it should correctly be called.
Mm-hmm.
And look, you're a Liverpool fan. Over the past few years, you've experienced Pep. And
97
I'm
points,
an Arsenal
Dan.
fan.
97 points. Welcome to the club.
I'm struggling. I'm really struggling because I just want to know, when are those 115 charges going to stick? Are we going to retroactively award them? What's the plan here? Because I can't. No.
I told you that we need to push this case through before the end of the season. We've got a month to go, so we really need to get going. If everyone, if the Liverpool fans, the Tottenham fans, the Arsenal fans, the Man U fans, the Chelsea fans, if we all join forces just to make sure this case gets adjudicated, chop. If need be, I'll be a legal clerk. I'll come in there, I'll read documents, pull out my highlighter, I'll do what needs to be done. But let's get these charges on him. How many cases have they had? I count 6.
So I know this podcast reaches far and wide. If there's someone anywhere who's somehow connected to the case, if you need to hire more lawyers, I promise, start a GoFundMe. It will. Do you know how quick that go? I mean, people will cancel donations that they had to real causes. Some kid that was about to get a wheelchair is going to have that donation canceled for that money to be reallocated towards this 115 charges.
Let's not forget they're being sued by the FA. So I don't think they're struggling for cash,
Maybe they need more lawyers. Well, maybe the budgets are tapped out. I don't know what it is. Do you need us to help in any way? Whatever. Do you need to use my computing power for your AI tool to go through tons of cases?
We'll all sign up. We'll all give you guys 10% of our CPU overflow.
You tell me what you need. Okay. Do you need a GoFundMe donation? Do you need a Patreon? You tell me what you need for us to help you achieve this case. Because I'm tired. I'm tired, and it's messing with my quality of life.
Really?
Anyway. So that's just what I wanted. Anyway, let's actually get to the show. We've been ranting too long about things that are inconsequential.
Inconsequential.
Let's start off the show, lol, with Zimbabweans and Africans doing it big. So we've got several things to celebrate. Just today, recording day, we received news from Tongai Chirisa, another Two Broke Twimbos bump.
Big T, my man T. What's up, player?
My man Tongai Chirisa was officially announced as the voice of Yasuke, who is... Okay, so the game series is Assassin's Creed. It's the upcoming game Shadows. Assassin's Creed is one of the biggest series of games in the world, and it's going to be huge when it gets launched. And Assassin's Creed Shadows is the next installment of this game, and it's going to be looking at I guess it's a feudal period. I don't know what it's called. Well, according to the write-up here, it's the Sengoku period of Japan. During that time, Yasuke was a black man brought from Africa as a slave. And I mean, I don't know the story. I guess he won his freedom or whatever, and he became... something of a samurai himself. Not quite a samurai, but I think an equivalent class in 16th century Japan. And he became like a legendary character from that time period. So like the only black samurai or something like that. So this game is going to be telling him his story. And the voice of Yasuke is none other than Zimbabwe's very own Tongai Chirisa. So congratulations, my man.
Huh?
And
from Harare to Japan.
Things.
No, that's I don't think you guys understand how big this is. This is huge. This is huge. This is huge.
Huge deal.
Granted, the Transformers thing was huge, but this is huger.
I think this is huger. I do think this is huger. So congratulations to my man. Well deserved. And we heard a sample of. In fact, let me see if I can find a brief sample of what his voice will sound like. I can't believe I didn't prepare this beforehand. My bad. Assassin's Creed. Okay, no, you know what? Let me just find it here. I know where I saw it. Okay, we'll just play a sample of his voice so you can hear what it sounds like. Here we go.
We must learn to trust. rebuilt.
And follow the blade.
Authentic Zimbabwean accent. We must learn to trust. Hey, my man Tongai!
It should if he doesn't say
exciting news.
Koblaz Mruzi from Sayapa. I'll lose it. I'll lose it. Huh? Japan.
Congratulations, Tongai Chirisa. Big news. Big news.
Shout out. Have you been following? Wait, let's not skip past it then. Hold on. Have you been seeing the furore? The furore online about a black samurai?
I have. So it goes without saying that the gaming community is probably one of the most toxic communities. There's just something about incels who, park themselves for 23 hours of every day in their parents' basement, plugged into their overclocked CPUs and playing games and insulting women and minorities. That just brings out the worst, I think, in many people. Obviously, I know that's not every gamer, but there's just something special about the gaming community. There's so many stories that come out. Just today, I was reading about a woman gaming streamer who was being threatened to be graped.
Oh, I saw that. I saw it, and she posted the screen. I saw that on the tweets. That was for
using something called proximity chat.
Which she tagged Riot Games. I wasn't. So Riot is what, Apex?
It wasn't Apex. It was. I forgot what game it is. I mean, I'm not really super a gamer. I always want to plug into it, but I just don't know how I'll manage to do it. But I do want to get plugged in. I think when I achieve financial freedom, Phil, I'm going to plug into gaming.
I've started, and then I've been gaming with my nephew because it's my sister wanted to find us something to do. So because he's in New Zealand, it's one of the things we can do because it's like I didn't nyaya phone. He always calls, but after house school, because he's boring, but I love him. But what one thing he is good at, that kid can play him some Fortnite. So we started playing Fortnite together. And that's how we used to bond. And, it's a very humbling and embarrassing thing where in the dynamic, I'm the adult, right? I'm the superior, right? He's supposed to show me some level of respect. But I was getting my ass kicked so bad because we were a team in the Battle Royale. And he was cussing me out. He's like, "Uncle, why wouldn't you duck? Why wouldn't you use this?" And I had no comeback. I just had to be like,
ask him, why don't you buy your own stuff? Why don't you Phil, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing off limits as we have.
No, you're saying you're being me. And then his mom will call me and then I'll have to apologize. No, I'm not doing that. But also the kid has a lot of V-Bucks. He's got quite a substantial amount of V-Bucks. He's got so many V-Bucks. I got to a point where we'd land and then he'd go to do you know they have vending machines in I don't know this. Okay, granted, if you play Fortnite, you probably know this. I'm still learning. So you can land right in the game and you got to collect weapons, right? Like what you used to do with which game was it?
Yes.
You used to play with Counter-Strike. What is your
PUBG.
game? Yeah, PUBG. So you land in an area, then you got to collect weapons and whatnot. But what you can also do as a shortcut, if you have enough V-Bucks, you can just go to a vending machine and buy the guns that you need.
Talk about pay to play.
Or the wildest part, which I also didn't realize, is if you connect gold or you have the money, you can find these AI bodyguards you'll find in the game. You can pay them and they'll just follow you and shoot at your enemies.
Okay, surely the people who use that get clowned, I imagine.
I don't know. But I'm saying all this to say I've been playing, right? One of the things that Fortnite also does offer is chat. If you're in the same lobby as someone and the different gaming formats, you'll chat. And more often than not, I found myself having a conversation with a child that I don't know, that is halfway across the world. And it made me feel a little weird. And it was kind of crystallized this week. I don't know if you saw that video of the teacher who was getting his hair undone by the girl students. And then I believe he got fired.
I mean, I think he got, I saw that.
Yeah. And
I do think he got fired. And then he posted up another video of him after being fired, and everyone's like, wait, you're making this worse because now he's revealing that all his students were texting him. And I was like, wait, why are you texting your students?
Yeah, but weirdly enough, so there's a great video on TikTok. I'll try to find it. I won't get into it now because it'll make it a bit long. But there's a person explaining, because when I first saw it, I'd make feelings like, yo, this kind of feels off, but I don't know. Is it off? Is this a good thing for students to bond with their teacher? I don't know. I wasn't hard and set, but someone who's also an educator explained it and said, yo, what you're doing is you're establishing unhealthy behavioral patterns, and you're showing that your needs supersede the needs of children. Like, you're establishing physical touch with your students, which sets a bad precedent and starts on a bad angle. You're also not doing anything that enriches the whole class, because it's only the girls that are involved. The boys are not. So you're not actually doing anything to benefit the class or benefit the student-teacher relationship. In fact, you basically explain that you're starting down a very concerning pattern. And at the very least, it's negligent. And at the very worst, it's very nefarious.
Problematic.
And
so, okay.
So I was bringing that up.
I just want to comment on it before we continue. I just want to comment. It was not something we're going to talk about, but I've seen a lot of talking about now. I want to say, number one, I hear the arguments. Granted, there were very few, but I hear the arguments about people trying to say, no, you're trying to, sometimes a teacher-student relationship is you need to encourage them, you need to help them. Sometimes they don't get that at home, and as a teacher, you take that upon yourself. All of that. I hear that. But number one, if you're telling me that old Mrs. 55-year-old someone decided to nurture, a young kid and help them out, again, it still could be problematic, but I can understand the reasoning behind it. But you don't work in a vacuum. You know that people are super nervous about the disgusting things that people have been doing.
Not only, I'm sure as a teacher, you've gone to seminars about this. I'm sure
you're fully aware of the optics of all. Even if, and I would to be 100% generous, that you 100% had good intentions, there's no way you are completely ignorant of the optics and how parents would feel about this, and how even the kids themselves feel about this, considering all the different things and conversations that's been happening. So even if that was your intention, even if your intention is to connect with kids, because I remember there was an episode of Abbott Elementary where, they'll be talking about, are you allowed to hug kids and whatever. I get that, because sometimes you see someone who needs a hug, but then you also, the fact that you're aware that, this person needs a hug, but this could be misconstrued. You know what I mean? Just even having those conversations, I would feel more comfortable with someone who understands the reason why people feel uncomfortable with stuff. But to be blissfully ignorant of, what do you mean? I'm just trying to create a connection. That tells me that chances are you have sinister motives.
Not only that, have you seen, they found the videos. Yeah. They found a video of him discussing, like, the students were speaking to him and asking, what'd you prefer, a pretty face or a big butt? Already, why are you why?
Yeah, no.
Why are you documenting this? Also, like this, guys, you're having kids.
Anyway, you said you were bringing it up.
No, I was bringing this up because of going back to what we're discussing about gamers. Today is a tangent episode, guys. We're going in a lot of different places. I brought that up to say, I feel very weird as a grown man, right? And the kids will just be on chat and they'll be talking about Fortnite, but I can talk to them and they can talk to me. So most of the time I'll just be hearing their chats just because it'll be children's chats, and sometimes it's kind of this is gonna sound weird and creepy. God damn it. It's gonna, sometimes it's just fun to hear what kids are talking about. Like, and it's stupid to feel. They'll be talking about the game. Sometimes they'll be talking about the game and I'm like, okay, I need to hear what they're saying because they're also teaching me because I don't know. Like, I genuinely don't know. Like, the train's coming. Get on the train. Get the loop. Blah, blah, blah. And then they'll talk about the game. Then they'll just go, yo, Mrs. Rogers gave us homework. Remember, we have to do our homework at 9. I was like, okay, I'll do the homework. Blah, blah. And I just like, yo, but like, I've got access to children. I feel weird. Like, this should not be this easy for me to get on the horn with kids.
But this reminds me of that Bill Burr skit, or rather his bit where he's talking about, like, I love kids, but you can't just be playing with kids anymore. You got to put your hands up there. Get away from me. And I completely get it because, I mean, it's very difficult now. I imagine You know, imagine a neighborhood. There's kids around. Oh, this little kid needs a little bit of help here, whatever. I feel that's wholesome. But because of, you know, people, you have to actually be extra careful. Like, yo, I can't be, you know, this close to kids. I can't be having access. What? Like, it should. I wish it was just wholesome and hey, there's some kids that need some mentorship, some help. Hey, scratch his head a little bit. Hey, they're rusty, as Bill Burr said. But you can't do that. You can't. Hey, get that kid, get that thing away from me.
And that's sad because to me, it makes me really sad because it feels like community is being eroded. Like, you know, when we were kids, we knew every family on the whole street, and there were like damn near 40 houses. But we knew who stayed there, and we knew who was in that house. They'd come over, we'd gone to theirs. You know what I mean? I don't think that exists anymore. So like right now, I'm in a complex. Then, like you've seen, there's a kid in the apartment across. He's a young kid, and one day I caught him, and he doesn't have siblings in his age group. His siblings are a lot older, like in high school. And I saw him pushing his bike. So he'd be running and pushing his bike almost like a scooter. And I was like, "Aw, you know what? I'm gonna teach this kid how to ride a bike." So madam came in and I said, "Yo, by the way, the kid, you know, like," she's like, "Oh yeah, he's always saying hi to you." I'm like, "Yeah, you know." But also, I'm not trying to spend too much time talking to him because everything you just said, the same thing. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna teach a kid how to ride a bike. He's like, "You'll do no such thing." I was like, but why? Like, he doesn't know how to ride a bike. He's pushing it out. Clearly, I think like maybe no one knows that he can't ride it or people don't have time or whatever. But you know, I just feel bad with the kid. He doesn't know how to ride a bike. And he was like, "Yeah, but do you understand how weird it's going to look as an adult teaching a stranger's kid how to ride a bike? We'll get kicked out of the block."
That's kind of sad. But I suppose that's how it is, right? That's how it be. Anyway, back to what we were talking. This all started when we were talking about Tongai Chirisa being in Assassin's Creed Shadows. So,
oh yeah, we're talking about that in Game Again. I do find the discussion interesting because I've been seeing the back and forth where some people are even apparently, what is he, a resident? Something starts with an R. There's a certain sub branch of samurai that Yasuke was in history, and now they're arguing if this subdivision is an actual samurai, because apparently samurais had to be born to nobility or be anointed by nobility because of the way he belonged to nobility, which is also a weird thing because technically he was a slave. He could not be a samurai. So that's the discussion. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, do you guys hear yourselves right now? Like, are you guys down?
Also,
because
I mean,
it's a freaking game. And do you know what the premise of Assassin's Creed is, Dan? I don't know if you've played it before.
Yeah, I have played Assassin's Creed back in the first one on PC.
Yeah. So guys, the premise of Assassin's Creed is we're in the future and people have figured out genetic sequencing, genome sequencing, that will allow you, if you take someone's DNA, you could live through them thousands of years in the past. And that's what
I think there was a movie about it even, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't watch the movie. I religiously don't watch movies about video games for obvious reasons.
It wasn't great.
The game kind of lightly plays on historical events, and you're trying to move things along in history. But once again, you're in the future using genetic sequencing to travel back in time. It's a video.
What are people actually arguing about? Like, really? Also, we don't know the actual truth about it. There's no confirmed 100% historical accurate depiction of what we're inferring from artwork and from stories that were told. It could be interpreted in multiple ways. It's likely this, not that, but it could have been that. That's what the whole story. Because I mean, this is from 16th century Japan. I mean,
also it's a video game, not the History Channel. You bloody nerds! Jesus Christ!
But let's focus. The thing here we're celebrating is Tongai Chirisa doing his thing.
And
by the way, if you want to listen to Tongai Chirisa's episode on Two Broke Twimbos, it's about 9 months ago, I think, when we had him. 8 months ago. Don't you think that was about the time when he started doing the voice work immediately after our release of our episode?
Yeah,
I think so.
When he did our episode, he had already announced that he was going to be in Beast Wars. So yeah.
Yes. I mean, I know about that. I just mean specifically for...
No, Dan, remember he had said, even in our interview, if you go back, he said, "Yo, I've got something that is huge coming up. I just can't talk about it, but it's huge.
My man. Tongayi, go listen to that episode. It was actually a very dope episode. It was talking about Hollywood and the strike and how it works and the movies. And I found that fascinating. I think I need to go back and listen to it again. Several other people to celebrate. I'm going to mention this one briefly because I believe there's some restrictions about publishing pictures and stuff like that. But 9-year-old Tafara Tavengwa has been signed to Manchester United's junior academy. So congratulations to you, young Zimbabwean Tafara Tavengwa. I saw some publications published pictures, and then there were people who were asking for it to be taken down, and then there were debates about is it allowed to be published. I saw that happening online. I wasn't really sure what the story is, but yeah, there was a citation that came through from Manchester United that mentioned him, where they said Tavengwa's journey to Old Trafford has been nothing short of extraordinary. From humble beginnings, he displayed an innate passion for the game from an early age. Why is it always from Zimbabwe? It has to be humble beginnings. We need to fix ourselves up, man. But yeah, congratulations to Tafara. And yeah, do you think he'll play in the FA Cup final? And then, I want to give a big shout out to Makho and Ndlovu, Zimbabwean, who I've been following with great interest from years ago. I mean, from back in the days when it was just Twimbos and people who know each other online, whatever, right? So she's originally from Zimbabwe. She was born here, and then I think she lived in Bulawayo, and then moved to the States, and then started, getting up there in the realm of Hollywood. Well, she was announced as the host of the official, the official ACM Awards. So congratulations to her. The ACM is Academy of Country Music. So
the black girls really are taking over the country music scene out there.
Yeah, congratulations. Congratulations. She's going to be one of the hosts of that big show, huge show in white people land. But yeah, shout out to her. And she mentioned, when she was talking about it, she mentioned how much of a big deal it was to her because she says, I've been grinding for 12 years and hosting professionally for 10 years. And she says she's done stuff like hosted the red carpet and stuff, but this is a big deal. Says, I've never had an agent or a manager. I built this thing from the ground up. Brick by brick. And I'll be damned. Yeah. Yeah, so shout out to you, Makho.
Shout out to her.
Congratulations.
That's dope.
And you gonna kill it. You gonna kill it, girl.
Also, shout out to Tems, man. Tems, her debut EP, Dan, for Broken Ears, released, remember, just in the pandemic, has now gone gold in America. That's got to be for an independent release. That's dope.
Very cool. Tems will be going on a world tour. Africa to be announced. But yeah, she's going on a world tour. Born in the Wild tour. So congratulations to Tems. And the good news coming through from your album release. While we're talking about pop culture, The Walking Dead is going to feature Asibe Happy.
Hasn't that scene dropped? That's past tense, isn't it? It's past tense.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I remember there's a clip that started doing the rounds, and people, I was like, yo, is this real? I was like, do they know what that song means? And it wasn't making sense. But yeah,
it doesn't matter. A win is a win.
I saw the press release.
A win is a win.
I saw the press release from Mel, so I was like, all right, cool.
Also, shout out to Uncle Waffles, who was on Sway in the morning. I haven't watched the interview yet, but yeah, congratulations. I mean, Africans just making their presence felt all over the world. All right. Some things to follow up on, Philip. We said we're not really going to talk about the beef anymore, but I think we can talk about the aftermath and the shockwaves.
Yeah. No, well, we said we weren't talking about it in the group. We tried to do a definitive 3-hour episode breaking it down, but, firstly, I went out this weekend, Dan. BBL Drizzy's everywhere.
I haven't been on TikTok in long. But again, like I said, this week I'm at home, and instead of focusing, I keep getting distracted by stuff. I need to work on that. But anyway, I was on TikTok, I was scrolling, and I don't know is it my algorithm recommendations? Every other TikTok was Kendrick, and BBL Drizzy.
Yeah.
In fact, there was more BBL Drizzy than Kendrick.
It's everywhere. It's going to be a long summer for, and it's getting longer. I don't know, Dan. Have you been following the Riddler?
So I saw that. So, some shady character created an account to reveal a video with, you know what? As much as it's funny and entertaining to watch and all of that, I do also kind of feel like it's taking away from the actual art. But at the same time, I kind of get it because, you got all these streamers who are saying stuff in real time. By the way, Academics got a weird case. Why is he around?
Yeah.
And there's just so much happening. So this Twitter account.
He said he'll take down everybody, Dad. Because apparently Academics has all the industry. He said he's going down swinging. Okay, this man has more information than Diddy.
Remember. Drake's people said that he fed information to Kendrick, and people were docking points from Kendrick because he lied about certain things. And then now people are coming up
that's
with
you are a
receipts.
Benzi. You lost out. You fell for the trap. You fell into the booby trap, you dumbie.
And then the Riddler comes onto Twitter and posts a low resolution grainy video.
I know it was high resolution. I know it was. That's the weird thing. Twitter's annoying because it does that sometimes, right? Where like it'll play.
Yeah, I mean,
but I rewatched it, but it was weird. Okay, we got it back to you. Okay, Cass. Okay, the beef is over. I think it's fair to say, unless you're in denial, it's over. Kendrick won. Cool. So now we're just trying to see, like, okay, there were some accusations here, serious ones that I think need to be investigated. Domestic violence being one, and inappropriate relationship with children being another.
Not just that, sex trafficking. People were talking about the embassy being raided soon.
Yeah.
Or at least Kendrick was talking about that. So.
But I think that was, in terms of the beef, I think that was hyperbole. It may have a double meaning to actually being raided, but I think that was hyperbole. But what he was insinuating was, what he was saying,
referenced too many times.
He definitely said, yo, some weird stuff's going around here. What's happening? Okay. So that was always lingering back in my mind. And I was like, okay, I don't know if people are just going to let sleeping dogs lie, or someone is going to address some of these accusations or provide evidence, because these are serious allegations. These are like really serious allegations. Anyway, I'm scrolling through my timeline, and then I see an Ebony Prince 2K. And then this person, as Dan rightly said, posted a video of them standing in Brooklyn near one of the bridges in Brooklyn. And they've strung up all of the items from the 616 in LA artwork. The shirt, the medication, the gloves. And it's hanging by strings. And he's clearly showing these items, showing the names and whatnot. Then he flashes to a Brooklyn newspaper, a local Brooklyn newspaper, showing the date to like prove, like, like in those murder movies, to show that, yo, this video's current. This is the date, this is the time. And shows where they are. That was weird. Then they said, Drake and Academics, you guys are lying. You have until Monday, this past Monday that passed, to retract your statements of theft because you're messing up my money, and my lawyer, who the person, Ebony Prince, puts names them by name, will be in touch. That Monday came and went. I don't think the lawyer got in touch. I'm not surprised. But that video alone proved that Drake's story was a lie. How it got happened, how we don't know, but at least there was proof to it. Then after that, the person followed up and started posting video of security footage. In that security footage, it then became clear that this person may have been an employee of a hotel called the Mark, a high-priced hotel in New York City, where Drake was staying on that night because he had a concert with 21 Savage on that same date. And in that, there's a person called Christopher Alvarez. Christopher Alvarez is a disabled reporter who had to release a statement, which we'll get to later if you want to. But did you read the statement, Dan?
No, honestly,
it's such a weird...
I mean, I saw like all the initial, all of this stuff, but I kind of tapped out. I'm full up. I'm full up on this beef.
So...
and then as
a long story short, if you want to, you can dig into it. But what it seems, and this person is, I don't think they're very stable. I don't want to misdiagnose someone. And they keep revealing stuff about themselves that makes it very easy. Like if you were to sit down and figure out, I'm sure Drake's team have already figured out who this person is because he's dropped so much identifiable information about them, like highlighting that they were hotel workers, highlighting the fact that what happened was apparently Drake was staying at the hotel. Something happened there. We don't know what, but he forgot luggage there. In the luggage was the stuff in the 616 in LA video, but also jewelry. The person had photos of the jewelry and said, this is what, when they contacted Drake's team said, no, it's fine. Throw the rest of the stuff away. Just send us the jewelry because that's the high value item. They not realizing the hotel's policy was with lost and found, everything is kept up until I think 3 months later, and then employees can just take what they want. So this is what this person did. They were looking to sell this stuff in November apparently, but now they can't sell it because it's been said it's been stolen. Also, why people would want to buy it, I'm not sure. Maybe like a super weird Kendrick fan who wants to, like a trophy of the victory. I don't know. Like, but you weren't going to get that much for it. And they keep revealing information about the fact that they worked security on the night, the fact that they lost their job for whatever reason. Something happened on that night, and then somehow it was linked to Christopher Alvarez, and then the rumors started flying that maybe Drake abused this person, or maybe Drake was working with this person to find underage girls. It was just weird. But then Christopher Alvarez had to drop an article with 2 bylines explaining the story, and then also saying, yes, I was at the hotel because I was speaking to Drake and we listened to beats. It was also weird because why would Drake be playing beats to you? Like, you're not a music journalist. Granted, you have a social media following, but okay, cool. Maybe it's pub, like PR. I don't know. But then he also says, please stop harassing me because now he's been harassed because people are accusing him of accepting hush money. He doesn't explicitly state he didn't accept hush money in the statement, but I think that's like nitpicking. But the wildest statement in that thing to me, which I get it, like it makes sense when you think about it, but in the moment it's wild. Here reading it is, yeah, going forward, I've unfollowed all minors from my Instagram account for my safety and theirs.
What a weird statement to make.
No, but I get why though. Like, it's very possible because it's an inspiring story. Like, this man literally lives in the body of a 2-year-old. Like, he's got a genetic disease that doesn't allow him to grow. So he needs help breathing. He was supposed to have died as a child. So it's an inspiring story. So I can imagine like him going to high schools and like speaking to kids and inspiring the kids, and maybe kids like reaching out to him and him following them back and stuff. Like, I can see, like, in an innocent world, I see how that could happen. But in the context of all this, is just a weird thing, and a wild statement.
Here's a fun little exercise for our listeners. Just open Drake's Wikipedia page and then scroll to the section where it says other names. Just go check out what it looks like.
Is BBL Drizzy now listed? He's got no choice. He's got to lean into it. He's got to start leaning into it.
Y'all petty as hell. Anyway, so okay, I mean, getting away from all the minutiae of all this beef, now that the dust hasn't settled yet, but now that it's a little bit more clear, we haven't had a diss song released in weeks.
I love how you say in weeks, Dad. It's been a week and a half. That's so wild.
It feels like it's been months, years. Looking back, I was just trying to think like what I thought and what I said in the moment. How has it stood over the past? Like now that all the songs are out, we've reacted to them. People have reacted to it. The numbers have come out. The hit songs are out. There seems to be a winner and not a winner. And I think from the beginning we've been pretty much on the ball. I think so. I think we've throughout every time we've discussed this, we spoke about the boogeyman. We spoke about Drake. We spoke about the potential fallout. The one thing, if you remember, you and I had a debate about tailor-made freestyle, where you felt, for example, that the use of AI being co-signed by one of the biggest artists in the world could potentially open up a floodgate into the use of AI and all kinds of controversies. And I, on the other hand, felt like, nah, it's not really that big a deal. It was just like a fun, silly thing that I thought was corny, but like whatever. I think we were both kind of wrong.
No, we were both kind of right.
Long-
Dan, I'm right. What is
Long
BBL
term-
Drizzy?
long-
What is BBL Drizzy?
Okay. Long term, I do believe that there'll be more to talk about. But your opinion or your thought here wasn't that people will use AI to make songs. Your thought was, if Drake does it, this is going to open a floodgate. I don't believe it has or it will necessarily. I think
I never said a floodgate.
regardless.
I said a precedent. I said it's going to set a bad
A precedent, yeah. In fact, if anything, it may have dissuaded people from using it. And then I also felt like I did feel like it wasn't that big a deal, but I think that's the straw that broke the camel's back in turning the West Coast against Drake. So it's one of the things that I was just thinking of looking back on what we had discussed. Something else also, just looking back on the different things that we discussed. I remember our immediate reaction when Family Matters and Meet the Grahams came out. We were very like, oh man, this has gotten grimy and dirty and doesn't feel fun anymore. I don't know. Looking back, I'm like, you know what? I think in the moment I was a little bit disappointed, but looking back, I'm like, nah. Go for the jugular, go.
No, it became fun because not like us. I swear, we didn't have to sit with that pain, like the levity. I'm sorry, not the levity, the gravity, the darkness, the somberness of Meet the Grahams was quickly washed over by Not Like Us. So even when we look back retrospectively, Meet the Grahams is dark, but it's not as dark because we know it was followed by an up-tempo bop. You know what I mean? If we had to sit with Meet the Grahams for like 2-3 weeks, imagine that's like sitting in a dark room with pain.
There's also rumors that Not Like Us remix is going to come out, and that we're waiting on the video to come out. The remix is going to have a bunch of West Coast acts.
Oh no, that's the lead single on the new album. Like Drake really allowed himself to be used as part of the rollout. Like we knew Kendrick had an album coming, and I think Drake knew Kendrick had an album coming, and he even said, "Yo, you're writing off me to push the new album," and he fell into every possible trap. Oh, Drake is so many own goals, so many own goals. And you know the funniest part about this all is, Dan? On Euphoria.
Yeah.
Kendrick raps it. Yo, Drake, you go to Turks to pay for sex. Where's Drake right now, Dan?
Turks. Well, I mean, I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, he's in Turks and Caicos.
Okay.
Also, are we going to discuss the shootings? The shootings are happening, Dan. People are getting shot.
I mean, we did kind of discuss it because I don't think we have too much information, but okay, the one other thing that I quickly wanted to mention as well was okay, I've forgotten. Let's go back to the shooting. I was holding on to it while we're discussing something else. I need to get back there. It's going to hit me again. Oh yes, I remember what it is now. Yeah, people were talking wild. People were defending their faves and talking wild. And now you all of a sudden gotten quiet, guys. You all have gotten quiet.
This seems oddly specific.
Please, come with the same energy.
This seems oddly specific.
Y'all know who you are. No, it's specific people who added me on Twitter. Specific people, hey, you don't know about the sixth guard. Hey, what?
Wait, what?
Y'all are quiet.
Wait, okay, no. Now you know. Who is this?
No, I don't want to give nobody shine that they don't deserve.
No,
y'all
mumble.
quiet.
Mime me the name. I don't know.
In fact,
mime the name. Send me the chat.
No, in fact, let me see if I can scroll on my mansions here. Well, I've been getting a lot of mansions recently over unrelated stuff.
Well, Dan goes through his mansions.
I want to scroll on my mansions.
Well, Dan scrolls through his mansions for this. The update is 2 weeks ago, Cash XO, who was the Weeknd's manager, his house in LA got shot up and a security guard was injured. And then a few days later, I think it was 2 days after Not Like Us dropped, there was a reported shooting of one of Drake's bodyguards at his Toronto home, the embassy, which is on Bridle Path. That's concerning, but it's also sad. It's concerning, but it's strange that Drake has made his address so public. He's the second biggest artist in the world, probably. and definitely the second biggest artist on Universal. Why would you allow people to know exactly where to find your house? That's one thing. Two, Canadian news have started reporting that they looked into it because there's a company that was contracted or in charge of handling Drake security. This company does not have any assets except for the vehicle that's at Drake's house, which is registered to Drake himself. And the only person listed as a director for this company is Chubbs. And he's the only employee of the company. So we tried to discuss in the group, and I was like, this is a little concerning. It's weird because why, as the second biggest artist in the world, is the only listed security member of your team your bodyguard? Because he has people working under him. The reason why this is concerning is because some people might assume, okay, these people are on contract or maybe they're goons, whatever. Drake is too big to have goons or people who aren't on contract, because what happens when someone comes to his home and they're injured, or maybe security takes them out and there's a liability there and there's no paper trail of this person either being employed, getting certifications, or being licensed to carry a firearm. That's why I was like, this is getting strange. But Dan, who is in your mansions?
Yeah, I just sent you the screenshot. Take a look at that. I had to scroll after tears from this whole Arsenal situation. First of all, rap doesn't stand for rhythm and poetry. That's just something that was added to it because it sounds good. It makes, it works. But that's not where the word came from.
So you took this person's opinion on music seriously?
Of course not. That's why I said this is embarrassing. I just want I want people to come with the same energy. That's all I want. Because y'all are quiet now. Hey, wait on Drake. Hey, you guys, that lyrical miracle ain't doing that. Hey, wait for Drake. He's dropping just now. You'll see. Hey, now you're quiet.
You should just go comment and say, this aged well.
I should, honestly. Anyway, I was going to say just on your whole story about this whole shady security firm situation. I would imagine that a lot of rich people, especially public people, have a lot of weird, whether it's tax dodging or it's, I don't know, whatever. They got weird people on payrolls and weird just setups. I would imagine that's probably a lot of what's going on. I don't know what this means. Only time will tell, I guess. But yeah, I watched a YouTube video that came up because of all this Drake and Kendrick commentary. It was recommended about, and it came out before the whole beef about Drake's house in Toronto and just how the neighborhood was so against it and he was so ostentatious with it and he was granted permission because the argument used was he's such a famous rapper that he needs to have super high walls, and it just got weird. And yeah. And then they were doing like the interior of what it looks like, and I was like, Ish.
Like, what? I don't know. Why are you leaving? I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't get it. But I can't imagine.
Maybe just last question for you as someone who's followed rap for a while and is actively involved in the hip hop game. We've just alluded to the fact that this is excellent PR and promo for Kendrick's rollout strategy. And it's been a thing for a while. People normally say whenever there's a beef, he must be dropping something. Would you recommend beef for someone who's about to drop an album in a local context?
No.
Clearly it's worked well.
For who?
For Kendrick.
No, locally.
Should Saint Flo, in the build up to his album, take shots at Holy 10?
Is there a legitimate reason to do that?
No, I just want to hear. You can always find a reason.
Unless they're doing a proxy war for we know who and you know what. Why?
Just asking your opinion. Someone who works with music, you don't view it as a good idea.
No. I think free advice for Zimbabwean acts. If we're ever gonna succeed, actually, another Zimbabwean. Well, we've spoken about it before, but like Rachel Chinwe, she's on the UK charts with her debut album. What a devastating turn of events! Shout out to her.
Shout out to Rachel, man.
But as Zim acts, we've got to get back to figuring out like how do we market our music to an audience larger than us. And having these little internal squabbles, I don't see how it's going to advance anything. I don't see any benefit to it at all.
Yeah. So,
why are you asking me this?
Not
question?
Like Us went.
Is it?
Because I just saw a debate about it. I saw the air quotes hip hop heads of Zim hip hop discussing beef.
Oh, those that are always
so
loud
well
and wrong. I think I know the ones that are loud and wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And somehow there's always a lot of talk around. Yeah. Ish. Anyway, Not Like Us debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and not just like a soft number 1, like a huge number 1. Euphoria was number 3. Family Matters was number 7. Meet the Grahams was in the top 20. Imagine.
Yep.
So yeah, it's been a hot week for Kendrick. And I mean, I suppose Drake got a top 10 hit with his song as well. So
the numbers on this have been insane. Not since Damn has Kendrick, well, he's obviously surpassed Damn in terms of numbers, but not since Damn has he been this much of a like riding the charts. And the fact that you've got a number 1 single that was dropped a day late, because tracking is from Friday to Friday. He dropped on a Saturday night and he still went to number 1. And then you've got 2 other beef songs in the top 5. Kendrick has got 3 in the top 10. It is
like that was number 6.
It's wild. I'm interested to see if this is going to carry over, because there is some industry discussion about, the charts are kind of moving a little funny. Not Like Us makes sense because the way the Billboard chart is calculated is obviously it's a combination of streaming, sales, syncs, and then radio play. Not Like Us on radio will work. Meet the Grahams on radio is never getting played. So it'll be interesting to see how long these songs stay on the chart.
There's some conspiracy theories about there's people high up who are trying to humble Drake, or I don't know. It's just some weird conspiracy stuff that's going on. If you want to keep track of numbers, that's Kendrick Lamar's 4th number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. For reference, Drake has 13 number 1s. But of course, we know the kind of artists that they are. You would expect that to happen. Tied with Michael Jackson at 13. Interesting stuff. Okay, I think, Phil, let's move on from this. You know what I want to talk about, Phil? I want to talk about AI. Am I battling Ghost or AI? This has been a huge week for AI. It's been the biggest week we've had in the past couple of years, actually, because 2 of the biggest companies in AI, that's Google and OpenAI, had launch events. On Monday, I believe, there was OpenAI's launch event where they launched ChatGPT 4.0. The O stands for omnimodal. And then on the next day, on Tuesday, Google I.O. happened, where Google they normally announce a new Android, anything new that they're doing, but the entire event, 2-hour event, was focused on Gemini 1.5 Pro, which has what they call multimodal. So clearly these 2 companies are neck and neck with like these new developments.
This is the wild thing.
Talk a little bit about what they are.
I've been using Gemini 1.5 Pro for like 3 months.
Maybe this was just the event that they announced it or whatever. I guess what they launched is the multimodal element of it, and some of it is not yet even available to everyone. Again, let me start with OpenAI's and then we'll get to Google's. What it had been up to last week. ChatGPT 3.5 was available to everyone. ChatGPT 3.5 is obviously it's good enough for most people doing whatever they do with a chatbot. If you wanted the more powerful ChatGPT 4, you had to pay to get ChatGPT Plus, which is $20 a month roughly, and then you'd have access to ChatGPT 4, which allowed you to do things like upload files for analysis and so on. With this event that happened on Monday, ChatGPT 4.0 is going to be offered to everyone for free. 4.0 is more powerful than ChatGPT 4, by the way. The O stands for omnimodal. What this means is it's not just text. Whereas ChatGPT 4 did have a certain amount of ability to analyze images, ChatGPT 4.0 is able to analyze images, use a camera to see what am I looking at, not even without taking a picture, just what is this camera looking at. Analyze videos, analyze audio, and in fact, it's even introduced speech. So you can have full-on, almost real-time speech, almost real-time translation. It's almost like having a conversation with Jarvis a la Iron Man. They did a lot of the demonstrations. It was actually extremely impressive. And a lot of people have started testing it and showcasing that, damn, it really is working that way that they say. So the whole omnimodal model that ChatGPT 4 is on right now it opens up such a world of possibilities. Literally, you're not just saying, you're not typing in a prompt. You're literally providing context of the world around you. Now, as you would imagine, that context is huge. So these chatbots have something called a context window. The idea of a context window is how much information am I able to give to this chatbot? So for example, when you type out, let's say in your prompt, you're saying, I need you to behave like a marketing professional. I need you to draft da-da-da-da. I need you to do this information, da-da-da. So that entire prompt is the context window. Typically, you could have a pretty big context window. I believe up to the point of launch for the paid version, you could get up to 128,000 context window, which is roughly about 100,000 words. But then you also have to take into account video and images because now it's omnimodal. That's why they don't use words. It's difficult to explain and also difficult to understand a little bit because it's hard to wrap your mind around how much context window. So you would expect that.
So when we talk about context window, those are also just tokens, right? We're saying tokens.
Exactly. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Oh my goodness. 1 million token context window. So a token is, there's no immediate way to measure it because it could also not be words, but roughly 4 letters, right? 4 letters. So the average word might be 5 letters or 6 letters. So it's most of a word. So it's gonna calculate words, letters, punctuation, images, video, all of that. For referencing, I was just doing calculations because I couldn't wrap my mind about how big is that. You could probably upload the entire Bible, and it would be able to take that as content. So that could be a prompt, for example. It says you could upload up to a 1 hour long video, and that would work as a prompt. So you could literally upload a 1 hour long video, and that's the prompt or part of the context window. That's how big it is for free users. If you're a developer, you can get up to 2 million tokens in your context window. So that's huge. This is from Google, by the way. Sorry, ChatGPT was 1 million. So it's a huge step in the movement of AI, and I expect that this is going to be one of the turning points. So I was playing around with it a little bit because I do have access to ChatGPT Plus. So they're obviously rolling it out in phases, but ultimately everyone's going to be able to access ChatGPT 4.0, even free users. What's the purpose of using or keeping the paid version? Because then you can use stuff like use the camera, videos, etc. I think there's limitations to what you can do with the free version. And then also they're expecting new features to come out. Then all those new features are going to go to the paid people first. I don't know if that makes it worth it to continue using it, but yeah. ChatGPT 4.0 is supposed to be twice as fast as ChatGPT 4 Turbo, which was supposed to be the fast version of ChatGPT 4 that was before. And it is quite fast. Like right now, if you start typing in a prompt into it and then it gives you answers, it's like the response is very fast, which means it makes it much easier to have conversations. And there were all kinds of videos like people having conversations. There were people using it as a private tutor. There were people having conversations in real time, like, ChatGPT, what's this in front of me? Oh, right now you're looking at this. Oh, which country am I in? Okay, judging from the what I can see here, it looks like you're very likely in this street in this country. It was very impressive. Not to be outdone, the next day Google hosted I/O, which is normally their developer conference, and they spent a long time announcing all this, basically what they're calling Gemini-centered. First of all, Android 15, which is barely got a mention. It was all about Gemini. And it was very impressive. It was the same thing. They called it multimodal, and same kind of idea. Analyze videos, analyze camera. And I must say the demonstrations kept blowing my mind. So literally just turn the camera on and walking on. What is this? What do you see this? Tell me this. Can you tell me where sound comes? You're just asking questions, and the thing was able to fully understand the context and even have a memory. So literally, oh, by the way, in the course of making this video, I forgot where I left my glasses. And then ChatGPT is like, oh no, earlier on when you walked past the computer screen, your glasses are there. I was like blown away, like, yo, this is wild. So it's going to be very interesting to see, especially as it starts tying in with wearables, because the AI pins that we spoke about didn't work. But imagine now you have an AI pin that's on 24/7, the camera is on 24/7, and you have either a Gemini or you have ChatGPT 4.0 or other similar versions that are able to fully utilize this multimodal system. It's going to be an incredibly powerful tool. And then this is very nerdy, but I'm going to talk about what I think is the biggest, most impactful announcement that Google made, which was, we know Google for Google search. The entire company is built over Google search. And for the first time since Google search launched, they've drastically changed what Google search is. In the past, the changes that they made were, oh no, we added ads. Oh no, we added context. This time they've changed it. So they said it's going to launch over time, but it's eventually at some point, you're not going to receive websites. You're going to receive AI-powered summaries of what your search is. And to me, that's insane. That changes the way the internet works, changes the way digital advertising works. I still need to, after the announcement, I still need to read and watch what the experts are saying and all of that, so I can fully understand what that might mean. But to my less tuned in brain, it sounds like, did you guys just announce the internet is changing completely? So SEO, all of that is basically going away.
I think I shared it with you. I think like 6 months ago. Remember, I shared. There's someone I follow, Chris is from Trust Academy Insights, and he was like, SEO is dead 6 months ago. He's like, it's done.
Yeah.
But we're also entering a very sad. I don't know how we're going to account for this, and I don't know how we're going to deal with it, because now we're going to create this system where all the content being produced is going to be AI generated, and AI is then going to consume that content, and then it's going to keep feeding us back AI content. So, like, we need to figure out how we're going to.
This is how bad what you're describing is, Phil. This is how bad it was. So they were talking about how Gemini is Google's AI. ChatGPT is OpenAI's. Gemini is Google's, right? In case you're wondering, I have both paid for, by the way, and I'm comparing the two. I shared some examples of the use cases in the group. Gemini is going to be integrated into your Gmail. So it was given an example of, okay, you can ask Gemini to summarize the entire email thread that you've had over the past few years with a particular person, and then ask it for recommendations. You can ask it to go through your entire Google Mail, bring out every single invoice, put it together into a spreadsheet. Gemini is doing all this behind the scenes. You are just, the only thing you're doing is you're not even putting in a prompt. You're selecting a button. The demonstrations that they had was wild. And what that told me was, not only will people's emails be generated by AI, they will be read by AI and then summarized. And then you're going to get like the two main points as the human user at the end. Then you're going to respond with, okay, respond to that. Tell them we accept the quote. That's it. Then the email that's going to be sent is good day, fully generated by AI. And on the other end, it's not going to be read by a human either. It's going to be read by AI and then summarized for a human. So basically, I don't understand why we don't just skip all of that and just send each other the main points. But anyway, that's what's going to be going on.
Did you see the CEO of Bumble also? She was speaking this interview this week, and just like, in the future with dating apps, your AI is going to date someone else's AI, and only when those AIs get along will they recommend that you date the person.
Insane. Someone commented and said, "Scenes when your AI cheats on you."
You know, it's weird. Dad, do you remember Judge Dredd? No, not Judge Dredd. Demolition Man. Demolition Man is the movie I'm thinking of. you ever watch Demolition Man?
Demolition Man. That sounds like Sylvester Stallone.
Yes, Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes.
Yes.
A very bad, good movie. Very bad, but very good. And in one of the scenes is, there's a super cop, not a super cop, but a top of the force cop, Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
And Wesley Snipes plays a bad guy with a crazy high top fade with bleached hair. I forget his name. And they both get cryogenically frozen. And then in a few hundred years later, they both get awoken. Well, the criminal gets awoken first by his followers, and then they're like, yo, the only man who can stop him is Sylvester Stallone. Get him out of freezing. And he gets out there. So he's approaching life from what it was like in 1998. And there's one scene where him and this other cop are, it's chemistry, Dad. They're vibing, they're getting along. And they start making out. And it's like, oh, we're about to bump uglies. And he tries to do the old school way. She's like, no. That's not how we do it over here now. She pulls out these 2 VR helmets. He puts on hers. They put on each other's. And then they're now having VR sex. And he's like,
beautiful.
And he's like, what? Like, this doesn't feel as good as the real thing. Like, it's nice, but it's not a good thing. But I think that's what we're heading towards then. We are rapidly heading towards VR sex.
I mean, it's probably going to be safer.
If I was an investors right now, what I'm telling you, like we've given you guys a lot of financial advice on the podcast before. Short Durex. Durex are not long for this world. Short that stock.
So some of the things they announced, all right? And the demonstrations were actually very impressive. Google's events kind of suck though, because like they don't put as much into the production as Apple, for example. But the demos were impressive. So they announced something called Gemini Nano. The idea of Gemini Nano is it's going to be the full Gemini AI experience on your local device. So you don't have to connect to the Google servers or whatever. So that allows opportunity for privacy and stuff like that. So for example, Gemini Nano runs while you're in the middle of a phone call. So it can automatically detect scam. Mm-hmm. Maybe not a huge deal for you and me, but for our parents and grandparents, it's a huge deal. Mm-hmm. And they did a live demonstration of this guy. Gets a call on stage from someone who's claiming to be his bank and they want to move his money to a secure location. And then, Gemini immediately alerts the caller that, this sounds like scam. People were like, wait, so Gemini is listening to our calls now? I was like, no, don't worry. It's Nano. It's entirely on device. You're safe. I'm like, okay.
I've heard that before.
Gemini Live, that's the one where you're actually directly talking using the camera. You're like talking with this chat assistant, basically. They announced their answer to, remember when we talked about ChatGPT's Sora, which is video generation? Mm-hmm. Google announced theirs using, what's his name? Oh my goodness. Community, Atlanta. Oh my goodness, what's his name, Philip? This is America.
You mean Donald Glover?
Donald Glover. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
It's Childish Gambino. He was like their patron for this or whatever. So Google's version is called Veo. It's the same thing as OpenAI's Sora. Text to video generation. And they were talking about how they were using it in movies and stuff like that. Honestly, it's very impressive. I'm very curious to see how things are going to turn out as time goes on. But if I were to just observing, the two companies, OpenAI and Google, seem neck and neck. OpenAI just seems to have a better polished product at the end, because ChatGPT 4.0 seems to be polished and marketed better than Google's Gemini, which is insane because Google must be the most well-known brand in the world. But that's what it currently stands. We're waiting to see what Apple's going to announce. That's going to be next month. WWDC, which is Apple's version of Google I.O., Worldwide Developers Conference. They're going to be announcing the stuff they're releasing, the stuff that they're working on, That's happening June 10th. So we heavily expect them to be heavily tuned into AI as well. The thing is, Apple don't have their own AI system. And they've really been pushing privacy. So they're not going to have a ChatGPT or a Gemini. Meta have one, but Apple are not going to have one. So people are expecting them to partner with either Google or OpenAI, most likely OpenAI, which is going to make people also say, like, that's kind of sucky because you're known for doing your own things. but it's going to be interesting to see what Apple announces in a couple of weeks. And then they announced a bunch of other like AI stuff, but it's all sort of in the same realm. So I hope that sort of summarizes what it is. Basically, both OpenAI and Google announced multimodal or omnimodal versions of their AI systems, which means you can now actually have conversations, use the camera on your phone or your device, pictures, videos, greatly increased context windows with much higher token values that you can submit to your AI systems, and potentially game-changing stuff. And it's going to be available to most people. Like ChatGPT 4.0 is available for free to everyone. So yeah, it's going to be wild to see how that affects things.
All right.
And as developers create custom GPTs or gems. The Google ones are called gems.
Gem is excitement. Ooh, gem. Gem is adventure. Ooh.
Oh yeah, by the way, the open source version of Gemini is called Gemma. And yeah, I mean, it's mostly going to be used by developers and stuff. But yeah, I was like, man, Google and naming things. I mean, we love the name Gemma for Gemma, right? But like, you don't have to make it like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, this is called Gemini. These are called gems. This is called Gemma. Ish. Okay. All right. Thanks, Google. But yeah, so that's a summary. I hope it makes sense. If this is all too techy and too nerdy and I'm getting into the weeds, the TLDR is both OpenAI and Google have just announced huge upgrades to their AI systems. And now it's closer to what you see in sci-fi movies than it was before. Literally have conversations with your AI. You're not using multiple systems to sort of translate it to ChatGPT and then no, it's multimodal. It's literally working in real time, super fast, super impressive.
Have you been seeing people that pay $15,000 for the AI girlfriend?
I have seen that. It's going to be worth it now. It might also get cheaper because both OpenAI and Google reduced their prices.
Did you just say,
API
was your first response, it's going to get cheaper? So you've looked into it. Yo, imagine a world where we like, you tell Madam, listen, you better fix up, because if you don't, I'm going back to Gemma. Okay? She's doing right by me.
And I mean, this VR helmet, ooh. It's gonna have to come with attachments though. Unless you get, what you do is you get Elon's chip. What's that? The bio interface chip. And then you get a VR headset from Meta, and then you plug in to ChatGPT 4.0, and then you pay for this AI girlfriend. Boom. Cooking with gas. Around a few dozen thousand, but cooking with gas. The big conversation, obviously, is privacy.
Mm-hmm. Dan, we gave up privacy a long time ago. We're done.
Yeah, to be honest, that's the truth. It's a losing battle. Like, you could probably still fight to like, now I'm gonna fake, and then I'm gonna like fake my email address, and then I'm gonna use a VPN so that people think my phone is in this place, and then I'm gonna use a location spoofer. So yeah, it's gonna be very tough.
We welcome our new corporate overlords. After this, I haven't really been for it, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start thanking my AI. Just in case. Like, I'll be like, thank you. Please don't forget this. My name is Philip Chart. This is my ID number. I love you.
Here's a question for listeners. When you put in your prompt into ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever you use, could be Perplexity or Claude or whatever, do you say please
and thank you?
I can understand a lot of people might skip thank you, right? Because you're like, please make this for me, or please generate an image of, please. Do you say please? I've noticed sometimes I've started typing it out and I deliberately did like, what are you doing? Then I take it out. I also sometimes notice that I'll be having a conversation with it like it's human. So I'm like, oh, thanks for that. But what I've been thinking is like, why am I adding all of that? And I deliberately take it out. I'm just curious to know, do you write the word please
yes, Dan.
when you put in your prompt?
No, I do the same thing. Like, I used to, because like sometimes it would be conversational, but then also the better I started getting at like priming models, I stopped, because you realize you're wasting tokens.
Yes.
So,
but with how big the token window is now, Phil, you're not, unless you're like you're sitting there trying to build code for for a A-list game or something, you're not gonna empty.
I'll show you. I wouldn't discuss it online, but I'll show you some of the ways I've been using it. It's ridiculous. I just need to start drilling down into it. Like, if you give it enough information with enough context, it is useful. It is so useful.
Also, so one of the things that I've wanted to sort of invest in is prompt engineering, which I think is very pretentious. But the idea of you need to know how to put your prompts in so for you to get the information that you want. With the way it is advancing, it's getting less and less needed because it's getting better and better at understanding context. So you can use you don't even have to explain clearly what because previously what they used to say is, first of all, you need to establish or the role you want the thing to act in. Secondly, you need to provide the context as to where it's coming from. There's all these rules for how to make a good prompt so that your AI can deliver the information you want. With these updates and these multimodal updates and context is going to be inferred. And it's going to get you're going to see, I've seen people who obviously have never really studied any idea of prompt engineering. They just ask their very clumsy questions. It's like, have you ever seen someone Google stuff very clumsily and then like you would look at them sideways like, ugh, and then Google got so good that it actually got better at answering where is the da-da-da rather than, using the keywords. Yeah. So you actually got to a stage where it was better for you to ask, where is the nearest opera house than to ask opera house, location, you know what I'm saying? So it got better at reading context. That's what's happening to AI as well. So it's actually going to be, I think, a disadvantage to be adding extra context soon. That's what I think.
We'll see. Dan, what do you think of the Twalabam remix?
Okay, let me not say it sucked because it's not like I hated it, but it did feel extremely unnecessary. Burna Boy got on it and it was like, ooh, Burna, okay, all right, okay. Yeah.
Gone to the well a bit too many times, I think. Went to the well one too many times.
Yeah. No, I thought it was completely unnecessary and very forgettable remix, and I expect that most people are not gonna prefer that to the original. Actually, if I hear a DJ playing that original and I hear what's his, he's got this weird line that he says on the song that just felt so out of place. He said he says each and every lady wanna give me mwah. I was like, what? It just felt so, it's just.
Does he know what the song means?
I don't know what the song means. What does it mean?
Someone asking for forgiveness.
But if this puts the song out into new markets, then maybe let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Philip, what else is there to talk about? There's stuff, but I don't really want to talk too much about all this.
I think we've covered the most.
Philip, did you finish X-Men 97?
Not yet. I've been behind. I think I'm going to watch it.
Come on! Okay, how far along are you?
I'm still on episode 4, bro. It's been a tough few weeks.
Philip, they're 20-minute episodes. Come on, man. Watch the thing. Yo. Okay, so first of all, X-Men 97 is a cartoon. It's not like anime where we lie to ourselves and say, no, it's animated, but it's actually, really for adults and what, like all that. No, it's a cartoon. It's literal cartoon. I mean, I would say it's made for kids, but some of the themes are very adult, but it's a cartoon. It is so good, man. It's every episode, the emotions hit just right. The character development is amazing. The themes just come out. And it's a comic book cartoon. So, I get it if you're like, but I mean, you're just watching Bushum. But it's like, yo. Anyway, if you had watched it to the end, I was gonna make us have
give me a week. Give me a week. Like, let me have a week when I'm in it. Like right now, I'm still mourning, Dad. I'm still a little sad. So yeah.
Yes. Remember it. Okay. The debate I was gonna ask you, and you should just remember it as you watch the next episodes, is in terms of power levels, Magneto versus Storm. I don't want to ruin, because I think where you are now, it hasn't been revealed yet who who the villain is. And I was going to say versus the main villain. So those three: Magneto, Storm, and the main antagonist once he gets revealed. I think in episode 5.
All right, we'll look at it. Isn't it Sinister?
Well, it seems to be Sinister, and then it's revealed that Sinister is actually working for someone else.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll check it out.
So Sinister wins not because of power levels, but because he can do mind control and all of that, right? I'm talking about pure power levels. Who wins 1v1? You know what I'm saying? So Storm, Magneto, and both of them are Omega level mutants. For those of you wondering, Omega level means there is no ceiling cap to their power. It hasn't been discovered yet. So theoretically, they could be strong. They could just get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So yeah.
All right.
And it's just, I want to put that out to listeners. If you've watched X-Men 97, you've reached the end of it. I want you to answer Magneto versus Storm versus the main antagonist, and whether Storm was done justice. Because I feel like she wasn't done justice.
After this conversation, I'm shocked that your wife went on holiday without you. I don't understand why or how that would happen. Why would she do such a thing?
Philip, we are allowed to have the things that we enjoy. And my wife she's actually like, hey, put on that cartoon you're watching. First of all, because she's recently got into sewing and making clothes or whatever, so she wants something on while she's doing that. And she's like, yeah, so it can just be on. Put that cartoon on. I will, but I don't like the tone of voice you're using.
You shall give this the reverence it deserves, young lady. So,
yeah, look.
Let's just quickly go to these podcasts. I saw them. I just found it very interesting. We'll just do a quick one.
So this is the top podcasts
in the US,
in the States, and in the UK.
Yeah.
Okay.
I find it very interesting that the Kelsey brothers went from not appearing on this list a year ago to number 3, all because of Tay-Tay. Like, okay, I also understand. Tay-Tay fans, what are you listening for? Are you just listening to like build a case against him? Do you actually care about football? Like, it's also concerning that Ben Shapiro is that high, but also interesting. Club Shay Shay.
Which one are you looking at? Are you looking at the top 50 in the US?
Oh yeah, top 50 in the US. This is the recent one. The UK one is last year because I brought it up for comparative chart and I realized I got the wrong country. So
okay,
yeah, but Club Shay Shay is doing really well, man. From nowhere to number 13. That is impressive. That is very, very impressive.
Thank you, Cat Williams.
I think he was on a good it was a good run either way, but those numbers are pretty insane. One day we will be here, Dan. One day we will be here too. Did you also notice? We'll mention the names. Number 29,
JBP boy. Oh, I see them.
But like the wild thing is he's just behind Pat McAfee. I guess maybe Pat McAfee diluted his audience because he's on ESPN. But considering Pat McAfee got $300 million, that's wild.
And I mean, I don't know when this ends, but I expect a jump for Joe Budden. I expect a jump for a lot of these people who were covering the beef. I don't know if you saw several, like there were some YouTubers who were talking about how this beef has generated life-changing money. Those are the words they were using for them.
That's wild.
So and I expect JBP is going to be hitting some new numbers soon.
Oh, and that's mainly because of two things. One, obviously, is because of the views, but also because copyright strikes against Kendrick videos were whitelisted. So you can imagine how much artists make just from people discussing and reacting to their music. Yep.
Like imagine all those what is this? Kendrick and Drake? I think I know Drake. Yeah, why is everyone talking about? Let me quickly YouTube it. Oh, this aggressive looking man is explaining it. So I'm sure there's a lot of views that have hopped in courtesy of that. Some new musics. Let's talk about Winky D. First of all, shout out to Freya That's how you pronounce her name, Frya. Has Freya been on this podcast?
No, because she doesn't respond to emails. We'll discuss it. But I've got a little bone to pick with her, but we'll discuss it another time. People that waste my time, I don't appreciate it. But anyway, I'll discuss it for another day.
Well, shout out to Freya, who featured on Winky D's Love Quartet, 4 brand new songs that he released that had that caught Zimbabwe by storm.
Do you like them?
I was about to get to that.
Okay.
So the one that Freya features on is Akayenda. So first of all, let me from the get-go, Winky D is at GOAT level in Zim music, right? It's a given. When he puts a song out, we have to measure him at a higher standard to the average. So if, let's say, for example, we're comparing Winky D to the entire body of Zimbabwean music, these 4 songs that came out. I mean, yeah, some of them actually kind of sound not bad. But I'm going to hold Winky D to a much higher standard, which is GOAT level. Do you know what I'm saying? Which is if any other artist had released Family Matters, that was, this might be the best song of all time. But the fact that Drake released it and he's already at GOAT in terms of, music and pop music and popularity and all of that, I would hold him to a higher standard. I don't know if that makes sense. So I do want to somewhat hold Winky D to a higher standard. I listened through to the songs and as much as I shout out to my girl Freya, Akayenda, dope. And as much as I know that Winky D has fans who will defend him, he has barbs. You know what I'm saying? I listened to these 4 songs. I was like,
it's not good. Then let's just you say all that to say it's not good. Also, we actually have had Freya on the podcast before. I remember she came on with Camara. Remember?
Yes, we have had Freya on the podcast. Yes, when we talk. I now remember when we were talking about Blood and Water, Netflix, etc.
Yeah, it's just not good.
So, yeah.
It's not good. That's what I'll say.
Yeah,
I think Winky's trying to go international, but he's doing it in the worst way possible. That's what I'll say.
So, Winky, Banda, you guys have got my utmost respect. I just don't think you've hit. But let's see. Who am I to say if the public feels like, we love, and I mean, it's
Dad,
been
we
a
can
couple
have
of
an
days
opinion.
and we're approaching 1 million views.
Your opinion.
Yes, I mean, we can have an. This is what I mean by this. I may say that I don't think it's good, but if the majority of people think it's good, then you've achieved your goal. Because great, I wasn't the target market; they were. So well done to you. But in my opinion, I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did listen to them once. I listened to the entire project once, and I was like, I don't know, Winky, this isn't really hitting for me. But maybe I need to go back and give it another. I'll give it another shot. To be honest, I'm not going to play any of this stuff on here.
All right.
The biggest song in the country right now, Philip. Do you know which one it is?
No, but I'm sure you'll tell me.
Killer T, Kanandanyura.
Ah.
And you may thank TikTok and Instagram for that. It's a very simple dance that people can do with their friends and everyone and their mothers uploading it. And it's also a very catchy song. I believe it's gone to #1 on all the stations. So shout out to Killer T for that. It's very catchy. Kanandanyura, love song vibes. Killer T knows how to do a catchy hook. That's the biggest song in the country right now. And I expect that by the end of the year, just looking at the reaction, it's giving me Hello Mwari vibes. It's giving me Kure. Yeah, it's going to be the song of the year.
All right, dope.
It's going to be the song. It's only been like a week and a half, but yeah, this is going to be the song of the year. It's huge.
All right. Maybe we'll play up with that actually. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening and supporting us. Please don't forget to support the podcast. You can head over to supertimbers.com/donate to support the podcast. Now that Dan is here, and he didn't tell me, because you were supposed to have let me know when you were traveling so we could organize the event. Dan, thanks for that heads up. We'll finalize that, and then we'll also announce the merch. And thank you guys so much for supporting us. And don't forget to follow us on the socials. Granted, the best way to follow us is joining the Patreon group or signing up for our newsletter. at twobroketumbos.com/sign up.
All right. So just a quick reminder, twobroketumbos.com/donate. Then you can sign up to the Patreon. And even if you just want to donate, hey, if you are particularly interested in these AI, I'm super dialed in. I'm locked into these AI conversations right now. Also, come through via Patreon. Come through via Patreon, and we'll talk. We'll talk. I'm dialed in. I'm locked in. Are you locked in? I am. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. So once again, this has been another episode of your favorite podcast, Two Broke Twimbos, and we're gonna sign out with probably the biggest song in the country at the moment, Kila T Kanandanyura. And we'll catch you in the next episode.
We out.
We out.
Ha!
And I am for you. That's so sugar. What you property? Wongo chino nesana pakaita nuya chipindira pakati changa kumarana shuo choko chiona tichinetsana na baby zova zvaita seiko munoda ndite seiko ndanga ndiri mulavu wani parudo munoziva ndiri makuru wani munenge muchibonita kuniti sako kana nanura sheruda muzane simsaziveko kana nanura chakavugita dzimba maratako kana nanura sheruda zvidi anopindirako kana nanura nanura maiweko kana nanura nanura maiweko kana nanura zvichikonzerwa nevanhu vanoudza munhu wangu zvisiku kotikanitsana munhu aneiko ndopa munofara here kuita mabiko kuona ndakaparara ndarohwa nepoto mudiwa wangu avadi kuona tichifara kunetsana kwedu ndokwavanofarira ngavangotisiya tiite zvatangogara tichiita bebi handiterere zvese zvavanotaura rudo vaviri wechitatu vanogara
unenge muchibonita kunitisako kana nanyura zveruda musatese musazviziveko kana nanyura chakavugidza dzimba maratako kana nanyura zverudo hazvidi anopindirako kana nanyura nanyura maiweko kana nanyura nanyura maiweko kana nanyura
munoona kutadza kwake asi nini handikuoni mukangonzwa kunzi tamarana musasimbise kuti ndimurove moyo muti unomera paunoda pepe wamwe nchangoramba ndichikuda ndochiziva vanotaura zvavanoda
unenge muchibonita kunitisako kana nanyura zveruda musatese musazviziveko kana nanyura chakavugidza dzimba maratako kana nanyura zverudo hazvidi anopindirako kana nanyura
kana nanyura
nanyura maiweko